Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Global Wealth Club Global Updates fortnightly with Stephen and myself. So tonight's focus will be Asia, the rise of Asia. Oh, Stephen, are you there? Hello,
G'day,
hello.
guys. How are you? I'm
Yeah, good.
trying.
I'm looking forward to this, Stephen. This discussion about Asia, the rise of
Hello, hello, hello.
Asia, the next.
How are we all?
Pretty good.
Hello. Ah, I can't hear. What have I done? Oh, I know what I've
Can you
done.
hear me? I'm blabbing to myself. No, Tony said good.
Everyone there?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yay! Okay. I
Can
worked
you
out how
see
to make it work.
it? Both of us talking to ourselves, Stephen, Tony said.
Yeah, that's all right. I hit the wrong button on the machine. And
Ah, is it
yeah.
because you're back in Oz?
That and I have a new speaker. Sorry, what's that? Microphone. Uh,
Excellent.
and um and I'm running on a new webcam. So I've just upgraded some of my gear for transport and moving around. So
Excellent. That's light enough to put in your luggage.
yes, really light.
Excellent. So, Stephen, I'm looking forward to this discussion tonight because it's the rise of Asia. So I'm still in
Yeah. Yeah, you're selling barley. I'm back in Oz now. Uh, I've got a heap of work done and met up with so many good people up there. It's just not funny. Um, and it is it's amazing. It really is amazing. I come away from 2 weeks up there just thinking, man, Australia is just going the wrong way fast. You turn on the news up there and it's positive. You turn on the radio up there, it's positive. You go to a restaurant, it's positive. You go anywhere you go up there, everything, the talk is positive. How good's the lifestyle? How good's this? What are we doing? You meet people from all over the world, and it is just, um, I'll just say it's refreshing. You know, I, um, and we had this conversation when we caught up in Bella, and then we had the retreat. And thank you to all those that come along to the retreat. It was a nice small gathering, and we managed to pump out quite a bit, I think. Um, and looking forward to doing more of those. So, private gathering, we didn't record it because it was such a private gathering, and a lot of the stuff that we did discuss was private. So, if you want to get intimate, come to the retreats, and we can talk on that. But there is just so much positivity.
Well, it actually reminds me of the Jekyll Island kind of coming
Mm,
together, isn't it?
yeah, 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 and it's just everything is good, and I'm so buoyed by it. I'm really, really, really buoyed and keyed up. Pumped out a lot of work. We've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes for GWC and with yourself, Grace, and with Warren, and we are just going to just turn things around. And one of the things that come out of the retreat was Plan B is now your Plan A.
Yes.
Um, and the reason that I coined that was I believe Australia's got 12 months at best before it's unrecoverable, got to be burnt down, um, and and start again. So, and to be honest, I just don't have the energy to do it. I've spent 6 years, 5 years since COVID, really plowing into the back of that, and I just can't do it anymore. People don't want to listen. People don't want to make changes. People don't want to take action, and it's worn me down. So for me, it's all about Asia now.
Mm.
You know, trying to get as many people to open their eyes to Asia. It's the next rising empire. I actually did a bit of a slide because we'll do some stuff on Asia, and then I'll finish with a political update, and we'll go from there. But it really is an eye opener to get up there and keep going. So,
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, Stephen, listening to you and Warren, applying it for my own personal life, it makes sense for me to just move around Asia.
mm,
And I was actually, after our retreat together and gathering all the information that you pulled in together for the group, it was actually wonderful because it's so practical and it's something that you can easily follow. And the hardest decision, because someone asked me the other week, what is the hardest decision to make to get the plan B happening? And I come to a conclusion talking to a lot of people is that is to say yes and just do it and action it. So I'm saying yes for me now. So that's why I'm concentrating. I'm just going to travel around Asia, spend less time in Australia, and just get on business because I was actually sitting there having lunch, minding my own business, Stephen, and still thinking what went through for our retreat. And then blow me out, I was watching on TV, the president of Indonesia was amongst the ministers from Chamber of Commerce. And I
mhm.
asked one of the guys there, the waiter, can you interpret for me what the president is saying? And he was saying, well, the president is opening up the 17,000 islands in Indonesia for all investors outside. And they're planning it out, they're strategizing it so that it will open up for all investors overseas to come in and that they want to help the people, the local people, open up the country. So I even asked him, so, with the Asia, whether the next empire is Asia. Now, this is the waiter I'm talking to, and he said, you know what? I 100% believe in that. 100% the next empire is Asia. And I'm talking to a waiter who's actually
Yep.
doing crypto as well. He's getting into digital business and he's getting himself educated and because he wants to really go global. And the only way he can do is digital. And
Yeah.
yeah, and the fact that Indonesia itself and the president is actually opening up everything for all of us overseas.
100%. You know, the the Bali Financial Centre laws just passed Parliament in Indonesia last week,
Yeah.
which identifies Bali as a financial centre for Indonesia. They're going to spend huge amounts of money on creating a special economic zone. It's right near the airport. There's an island just off if you go through the bypass there, Kura Kura Special Economic Zone. It's called. It's
Hmm.
now been identified as a financial centre, and they want to attract hedge funds and all that sort of stuff, and not just hedge funds, but investors and insurance and everyone in the financial services game. And
Mm.
I was talking to a couple of guys here um, earlier in the week and said to them, "Do you know that there's this new financial center in Bali
Mm.
gonna open up and all that sort of stuff?" And these guys are in financial services. These guys are in insurance, they're in banking, they're in especially app development, and doing apps like like the app that I showed you when I was up there that's been developed
Yes.
by guys that I'm working with, um, uh, and they're all gone. Really? Being jumped on the computer, had a look at it and went, "Holy shit! There is no reason for us to be in Australia." Because their customer base and that they're working towards is
Mm.
expats in Asia. So
Hmm.
why would they be headquartered here?
Mm.
You
Doesn't
can
make
now
sense.
live in a and have a lifestyle and have all the rules that are going to be backed, uh, that they need to run their businesses. This financial center is going to be run the same way Dubai ran the DFIC, right? The Dubai International Finance Center. They're
Mm.
going to use British common law. They're going to bring judges and that in from the financial world to sit and basically maintain the laws, the financial laws, the laws of chancery,
Mm,
all around the place. And mate, it'll be a massive success if they do what they say they're going to do. And Indonesia has some problems with that. They don't quite follow through,
mm,
and that's the one downside of Asia. It's the land of 80%. They go 80% and think it's all like that. But if they get even close to that, this will be a massive success. It will attract a lot of people back from places like Dubai, right?
mm.
And because now you've got the rules and everything that is required for these people. So that's just one example. Another
Oh,
example is opening up places like Sulawesi, Flores, um, and Sumatra, and that for natural eco lodges
mm,
and developments. There is huge amounts of that happening around all over the place. Just
mhm.
general business, trading, and that they all want to do it. And it's not just Indonesia; it's the Philippines, it's Vietnam, it's Malaysia, it's Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
um, and that sort of stuff. Health and wellness is a big, big thing. Asia leads. When I was doing some research tonight and on this, Asia leads the reduction of sugar out of soft drinks,
Oh, wow.
right? And basically making soft drinks less sugary. There,
Mm,
there's different mechanisms all around. Some of it they're limiting the amount of teaspoons um, per serving. Some are doing it by taxation, but they are leading the changes that are required. Where
mm,
we're starting to go the other way.
mm.
Being led by the health. So the whole thing is different. Um, just getting up early in the morning and walking around and it's just a different
It's
feeling.
wonderful. The atmosphere is wonderful. And when you talk to them about business and how's your business going, they're so open-minded, aren't they? And it's like a normal conversation for them.
Yeah, and they want to learn. Like
Yes.
I got picked up. My driver picked me up, and we were just chatting, and what do you do, and all the stuff that you do when they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They are so open to learning. They're not closed-minded. He's a photographer, right? And he does,
Oh, yeah.
photographic bits and pieces. And I said to him, well, you could go anywhere and be a world-class photographer or be a photographer and specialize in different things. Travel the world and do it. And it just comes down to different thinking. And
Yes,
getting out there. But once again, you're what you mentioned before, they want the digital world, right?
they do.
E-commerce, like Asia leads the world on e-commerce.
I
Huge.
mean, when we look at the VAs,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, anything to do with freelancing, anything to do with videos, you can always find it's all in Asia, isn't it? India's the
yeah.
big one, and all that. So, Amanda made a comment here. There's 1 billion Australians have left Australia in the last 12 months.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Huge,
Um,
isn't it?
the amount of Australians. So on the flight on the way up, it was full of Australians, half of whom were living in Asia. Sitting at the airport when I was transiting back, I was sitting next to people that are all moving to Asia. Right?
Mm.
There, yeah, and not just Indonesia, but Thailand and Vietnam, and some people were moving to Japan, Korea. That there was this stuff. There's more opportunity up there.
Exactly. Do you like my background, Stephen? Because I thought, well, we're talking about the theme of global, so I might as well put global.
Yeah,
Get the
yeah.
mindset.
Keep the
So,
mindset.
yeah, so Stephen, for the past 200 years, I just made some few notes here. For the past 200 years, economic power has largely centered around Europe and America and North America. So, what do you think in the next 50 years is it going to belong to Asia? Well, we talked about it. Um, so there's guaranteed or there's certainly surety that in the next 50 years, do you reckon?
100%. Um, Sorry, I'm just going to reply to Tony here.
Sure.
Um, yeah. Look, 100%. There's been 200 years of history where the world is basically being run, and we went through this at the event, where the world has basically been the freest in history.
Mm.
The shift to Asia isn't going to make the world any freer, but it's going to make the world um, a lot more competitive.
Oh, it certainly is.
Right.
Considering the what, the 60% population
Yeah.
in the whole world.
Yeah. So if you have a look at the numbers for Asia as it stands today, it's about 60% of the world's population. It's 40% of the world's GDP and climbing. It's uh, got the two largest wealth management hubs in the world, Hong Kong and Singapore.
Yes.
Um, and it's also got number four, which is Tokyo and Japan, right? The only one that it's missing is Switzerland. Right.
Hmm.
So the four largest wealth management hubs in the world are Hong Kong, Singapore, Switzerland, and then Tokyo. Right. So three out of the four are in Asia. Then you start going to London and so forth. But
Mm.
the wealth is there. More millionaires are being created in Asia every day than anywhere else in the world. Right. It doesn't mean that it's easy. It just means that it's happening.
Is it because of the population or is it the mindset of the people? What is it that has more millionaires in Asia?
A bit of everything. So it comes down to there is um, more opportunity because
Mm.
it's just playing in a bigger pool, right? If
Yes.
you have a look at Australia, we're 2% of the world's GDP, 2% versus 40%. I know where I'd rather be, right?
Mm.
And then if you throw in the US, all of a sudden you're talking about 80% of the world's GDP.
Yeah.
Right? So I know where I'd rather be, just purely and simply from that flow, right? The other thing is um, they are their governments are opening up and providing the background in legislation and all sorts of other things to allow things to happen. China's leading AI by a mile.
Hmm.
Vietnam is leading very well at the moment in digital creation, UI, UX,
Mm.
development processes. RMIT have a university campus in Vietnam, and it's bigger than Melbourne, pumping out high grade graduates. Right.
Amazing.
So um, you've got talent,
Mm.
you've got people that want to earn and learn and progress up the chain. You have the
Mm.
opportunity to move up the chain. There is not a very large tall poppy syndrome in a lot of these Asian countries. Um,
True.
there is a problem in some, namely China and India, around caste system or those types of systems, but they're getting over those. They're moving on, um, and their infrastructure is increasing at a huge rate, massive rate. It's just getting better and better and better and better and better as time goes on.
Mm.
I would say this my trip to Bali this time, I was um, really taken aback at how fast that they've grown with their 5G network.
Mm.
Right, it was pretty bad, probably 5 or 6 years ago. Now it's okay, but it's still patchy, but it's a lot better. I would say it's on par with Australia in some areas.
I think it's better because, like for example, I was for some reason I don't know my international internet wasn't working on my mobile,
Mm.
and I just happened to walk outside in Kuta, and I can actually link my Wi-Fi onto the local Providence.
Yeah,
Free.
yeah, yeah, and they're doing things like that.
Yep.
Vietnam have free Wi-Fi all through half the cities,
Yes.
right? You log on. They're making it accessible. They're making it easy for stuff to happen. Um, and away they go. Uh, Banking infrastructure is getting better. you know, health. I would say that places like Malaysia and Thailand specifically are probably better health hubs than Australia. You can always get in to see a doctor without waiting. The pricing is fair. Um, things are just cheaper and easier. Uh, okay, this is on the cost of living stuff. So 2 nights before I left, we went to a steak restaurant uh, in Bali, right? Steak
Mm.
restaurant. Um, there was a couple of there that they wanted to take me to a steak restaurant and show me how good it was. So we went to I can't think of the name of it. It's a fairly famous one in Bali anyway. We went there and had steaks. It was Australian steaks and all that sort of stuff. And I'd say the quality of the steak was better than half the stuff that you get here.
How would I
And it
compare?
was
How would I agree?
cheaper. It was cheaper than going out for a steak meal here.
Yes.
Right. You go out in Australia, it's probably going to cost you 50 to $60, right?
Yeah.
And but up there we were paying 25 to 30 a head. Right. So the difference and that's just stupid. We shouldn't be able to get Australian steaks in Asia cheaper than we can get them here. It just
Yeah.
shouldn't, right? But that's what's happening. People are leveraging what's happening. You can buy good quality produce now all over Asia.
And it's organic. Like the other
Yeah.
night, I went to grilled burgers, which we
Mm,
have in Australia, grilled burgers. Now, normally in Australia, it costs me minimum $20 per burger, and it cost me less than $9, and it tastes exactly the same as if I was in
yeah,
Perth.
yeah.
Mm.
So you've got all that sort of stuff happening. You can get good quality staff up
Hmm.
there. I'm working with some people at the moment on a couple of projects that we're researching, local Indonesians, draftsmen, and architects. They are superb. The quality of work that they're putting out is just phenomenal.
Mm.
It is just really, really is good. It's real good quality, high quality, um, uh, and their output is quick,
Mm.
really quick. Like they're turning changes around in 24 hours, right? And
Hmm.
we can't even do that here in Australia. So uh, I would say if you're not looking at Asia now in some form, you're going to really be left behind, and you're going to be left behind in droves because it's just going to steamroller us. Um, so,
I think the biggest thing is that, when I do my consults in Australia, the biggest holdback is perhaps fear or uncertainty. The only way that you can find out is travel, isn't it? Travel,
100%.
explore the place, and actually get to know the locals, talk to the locals. Even if you go to a hairdresser, food outlets, just talk to the locals, and they're friendly. Again, as you said, the mindset here in Asia is actually quite huge, and they're very open to business. I mean, I was born in Philippines. I came to Australia as a child, but Filipinos are naturally entrepreneurs, and
Yeah.
there's nothing that holds them back. And
Mm,
regardless, you can just buy yourself a stall and just sell and cook.
mm,
If you can cook, if you can ride your bike, just get on your bike, sell coconuts.
mm. Yeah. And that's the backbone of any healthy economy.
Yeah.
It's the natural trading between each individual that actually makes an economy work. The problem that we're seeing now with Australia is it's a centralized economy, right? It's God knows what the numbers are today, but you know, 20% of Australia's population is employed by the government, right? We've got, probably 60% of the population rely on the government for handouts, just to survive. They're all waiting for their tax refund and all that sort of stuff. Well, that's a handout, right? A tax refund, okay, it's giving your money back, but if you're relying on it, right, that's not a good situation to be in.
Mm.
And but you don't see that. So and we've the middle class has been carved out here, but the middle class is growing in Asia. And you've got
Definitely.
places like China and India that are trying to grow their middle class because they know that's what builds the economy.
Hmm.
And that's what builds the thing. And so you can ride on the back of this wave. Um, and there is nothing that there isn't a single business that I have come across yet, or trade or profession, that can't translate into being done outside of Australia.
Mm. So in saying
Everything,
that, Stephen, what industries are benefiting the most, do you think?
it's right across the board. It comes down to how you think and how you look at things a bit different. Plumbers, changing way sanitation works and how water is got in Asia,
Mm.
water collection, electricians, bringing higher standards to electricity supplies, and so forth. You've got telecommunications, doctors, nurses, you name it, chefs, cooks, and all that, even though they are restricted, but doing specialized diets. So here, for instance, one of the projects that's been thrown at me from Bali and I'm looking at is um, setting up wellness clinics focused on gut health, because the gut is as I'm finding out more and more, it's the center of
Yes.
of a healthy being.
Mm. It's your core.
Well, in Australia, it's hard to be a doctor or be a therapist or something like that and focus on these industries, because the AMA and all the big pharma just keep pushing you down because they
Mm.
want to keep pushing the things. But in Asia, they're like, bring it on.
Yes.
We're open to all these other therapies. We have traditional medicine. You
Mm.
know, if you're a coach or if you're, there's millions, millions of businesses up there that want Westerners to help them open up in foreign countries, bring in, um, a good accounting standards, uh,
Yeah.
to bring in board level um, occupations. There is, I'm yet to find a business that I haven't been able to talk to someone to pivot them into Asia.
Yeah. So, it's in relation to that. Stephen, Anna wants to know, what if you're in business advisory, such as finance, HR, legal, etc. So, how to best translate that into Asia if your knowledge is in Australia, Oz-centric? Yes.
Well, pivot straight away
Mm.
into, you know, countries like Singapore hire if you do come from Australia. There'd be Indonesian businesses, Malaysian businesses. There'll be businesses all throughout the world. Find local accountants and have a chat to them. Find local lawyers and have a chat to them. Do you have clients that are looking to um, get more westernized? Bringing consulting packages and all that sort of stuff. That's a super easy one. Fuck. Pack up your bags and go, and you'll have a job in 30 seconds. You'll find clients everywhere, bridging, the East and the West. Market entry services. So I was talking to my business partner. I've got another call tomorrow where I'm on talking with uh, I think it's 30 Chinese factories that want market entry services outside of China. They just have no idea how to do it. Right. So my business partner in China, who we're working with a factory on, he's gone and got 30 people. I think it's 30, might be more now. And we're going to do a session about market entry, whether it's into Singapore, whether it's into Malaysia, whether it's into Australia, you know, and all that. So there is millions of those businesses looking for
Mm.
that type of help. Millions of them.
But also you can create it yourself because, like, for
What do you do?
example, I've done this for about a year now, And when I just have to go to a workspace and the
Mhm.
number of people that you meet there as digital nomads, I mean, why not create your own investment club, for example, or a networking club?
Yeah,
So
a
that's,
networking club.
yeah,
You
so
know,
that's
you
something I
know,
have in mind, Stephen.
yeah,
I'm looking to do
I
that.
think you mentioned HR was Anne's thing. Well, create a HR club.
Yes.
How to outsource, how to recruit foreign employees.
Yeah. It's
There is so much that you
and
can be doing.
And I like what you said when you were here. It's just networking. You
Yeah.
go and meet people. Like, for example, the other day I was in the cafe and I mistook this lady for someone I thought I was going to meet. But but anyway, she said, "Oh, can you spend some time with me until your friends come?" So I said, "Sure." And so here she is. She's from Korea. She's actually an English teacher there.
Mm,
So I asked her, so tell me, being an English teacher, I heard that Koreans normally don't speak English. And she said, yes, statistically, Koreans they don't speak English. But she said it's now compulsory in Korea to learn English because at the end of the day, business is in English,
yep.
isn't it? So I'm
Yep.
like, wow, that to me that's profound from someone actually teaching English in Korea. And she
Yeah.
said, yeah, we have no choice. If we want to be in business, we have to learn English.
Yeah. And because some of the largest markets are all English speaking markets.
Mm.
Europe's still a large market. It's socially it's dying, but it's still a large market. The US is a huge market, right? US, so if you took in all of US and Canada, it's 400 odd million people. So you've got huge opportunities. You've just got to think laterally. The one thing that I do find with most Australians is they put in artificial barriers on themselves,
Oh, yes.
right? And Australians used to be big travelers. I'm finding they're not. And when they do travel, they're not open to what's looking around them. They don't have a radar on that is thinking in the terms of how can I benefit from all this that's around me. And you've just got to switch those few things on in your head and just go, oh shit, there's an opportunity or there's an opportunity. Right? I
Mm,
call it my deal radar.
mm,
The deal radar for me is on all the time.
mm.
Overhearing stuff, overseeing stuff, reading stuff that's on the paper, reading that. So one of the things that I've picked up overseas is fresh food vending machines.
Yes.
Fresh food vending is everywhere in places like through the US airports, salads
Hmm.
in jars in a vending machine.
Yes.
You've got vending available for fresh meat and seafood and all that milk and all that sort of stuff that you can just run down from your apartment building and grab something and go. We don't have that sort of stuff in Australia. The shops
Mm.
shut at 9 o'clock, you're fucked, right?
Hmm.
You can't get anything. But if these things were put in the basements of buildings and so on, you'd be able to get a whole heap of stuff. One of the ones that I saw, which I thought was really cool, and it was noodles. It was a noodle vending machine, and you picked your noodles and your toppings and all your bits and pieces, and it freshly made the noodles for you, right?
Hmm.
Put, have a look at that sort of stuff. So there's not just us taking stuff that way. It's that as going to Asia or and finding stuff and bringing it here as well, or taking it to somewhere else. Uh,
Hmm.
the amount of businesses that people have great ideas, and you could then franchise that, create a franchise for what you're doing, or a licensed model of what you're going. I'm working with some guys at the moment um, who have developed hyperbaric chambers that you can put into your home, right? And it increases the altitude by 1.3 or 1.6 times um, the altitude, so you repair better, and it's high oxygen and all that sort of stuff. And they had no idea how to do the market entry. Well, 20 minutes on AI, and we bashed out a report and sent it to them, and
Mm.
they're like, "Whoa, that was quick, that was easy," Um,
Mm.
And because I knew him, I should have charged him, but because I knew him, I just said, here's the report. So you could go and find that stuff. It's everywhere, everywhere. And the best way to be self-sufficient, the best way to avoid tax is to run an active business.
Yes.
If you want the best tax minimization strategy in the world, run an active business.
Well, I still recall, it's still to this day, it's current Robert Kiyosaki, the cash flow quadrant. So make a decision. Are you going to be on the left side or the right side? It's that simple.
Yeah.
If you're still on the left side, well, transition yourself to the right side.
Right. So, yeah. Yeah. And if you have a look around, the people with the best freedom, the best movement, the best everything, um, are running active businesses.
Mm.
And that gives them the freedom and the mobility. So if there's anyone out there watching this and listening to this, now or in the future, um, go and find um, something that marries up with your skill set, and you can transition it into Asia in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Like Anna, it's really not difficult what you want to achieve because you can do that online. There's plenty of coaches, whether you're a business coach, personal coach, life coach, all sorts of coaches, you can do it online. And particularly if you outreach with VAs offshore, you
Mm.
can you can pay them $5 US an hour, for example. And there's plenty out there wanting, to help you run your business in that way.
And and the other thing is uh, to remember is Asia is an in-person thing. So there's a lot of in-person events. There's a lot of networking opportunities and that
Totally.
lunches and dinners and everything that you can get invited to. I can remember when I was living in Hong Kong, I would be out at a dinner or a lunch pretty much every day, including Saturdays and Sundays.
Yes.
Saturdays we'd go to one of the islands, or we'd jump on, one of the boats and do a boat trip, especially during summer. Or you're at a restaurant with people. It is just a totally different world. And I would say to anyone, go and spend 2 months and pick a place and pretend you're living there, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then just run with it. You'd be
Mm.
surprised at what would happen.
Yeah, you'll get addicted to it, seriously.
Oh yeah, one, you'll get addicted to it, but two, it'll just be a mind-opening experience. Plus, I reckon you'll double the size of your business.
Mm. Not just business too, Stephen. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine. She's Aussie. She decided to retire in Thailand, and she just recently moved to her new place she's renting. It's a two-bedroom
Mhm.
house. Beautiful. She videoed her place. She's got a car. It's got a good front yard, backyard, beautiful garden, very spacious inside. And you know how much she's paying a month? Is
Probably the same as what you'd pay a week here.
Yeah, six
Yeah.
ninety two a month. And she's so there's another movement that I'm talking to traveling around is retirement. So people
Oh, it's
retiring
huge.
from Philippines,
Yeah.
sorry, from Australia coming to Asia, like my girlfriend. She's 692 a month
Mm.
and she's living off her crypto.
Yep. There's heaps of opportunities, and they want that. The
Mm,
Philippines has special retirement visas. They want people to retire there. Indonesia has retirement visas. Malaysia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, um, uh, I've missed one. Cambodia, all have special retirement visas. They want you to go and retire there. Now, there's all different levels of lifestyle and everything associated in those different countries.
mm,
But man, you know, your healthcare, you know, I know guys that are couples that are retired in Thailand. Their
mm,
healthcare expenses are half for better treatment,
mm-hmm.
right? And more opportunities like stem cell therapies, all
Yes.
sorts of different wellness therapies, different concoctions to get you off um, uh, medications that are harmful to you. Right? It's just you. Oh, yeah, I get overwhelmed when I start thinking about it because there is just so much. It's just a river, and when it's right on our doorstep and we ignore it.
Totally. I mean, even food is no problem at all. Like my girlfriend, she purchases organic meat,
Mm.
and they're mainly from Australia. So she only buys meat from Australia, the Wagyu meat,
Yep.
and fruit and veggies. So there's no issue at all with food because because before I traveled, to be honest, Stephen is like, am I going to get a belly, Asian
Oh,
belly and all that? Like, no, nothing's happened.
yeah. Yeah. And look, if you filter water properly, because if you get your own place, run a filter on your water, which you should
Mm,
do anyway. Um, have a look at growing your own veggies and stuff, sort of stuff in your own little garden. One, it keeps you active and it's a healthy benefit. Um, or you can eat out. I've got I've got friends that live in Singapore.
mm,
They never ever eat in. You got the hawker centers, you've got all the different restaurants, you got all the different places, um, and they never eat in. Right.
yes. Yes.
So
That's
yeah,
the same. I think my youngest son who travels with me, he doesn't want to go back.
no, no, not at all.
Mm,
They they basically had to throw me on the plane because I didn't want to get on to come back because you just could turn everything around. And struggling if you're struggling. So um, a builder friend of mine,
mm,
he's um, uh, come up, gone up, had a look at Bali, and he's looking at doing a development up there to see how it goes. Just build 3 or 4 villas and sell them off. He's going to Vietnam to have a look at the same thing as well. But when he's been running his numbers, he goes, man, we struggle to make 10% in Australia as a builder. He said,
mm,
up here I can make 30, 40%, right? And
mm,
it's just better numbers. You can, and the market is accepting those prices.
mhm.
Where here you're getting squeezed and squeezed and squeezed and squeezed and squeezed on all your margin. And the red tape, right, is just astronomical. So it's uh it is a really great eye opener and an awakening for most people when they actually start getting up and scratching the surface. Now, I'm not talking about going up as a tourist where you lock yourself in your hotel and you're a tourist. I'm talking about getting out and literally getting
Mm,
into the nitty gritty and finding out how stuff works.
mm,
On this trip, when I've just been up, I went and visited builders because I wanted to know how it worked. I went and visited notaries in Indonesia. I went and saw furniture makers, cabinet makers, right? Um, I found a really good tailor, right?
mm,
So you know you can afford all this sort of stuff, but it's you just got to get out and do it. Bank.
mm,
Um, I walked into a bank and had a terrible time, but we ended up getting there for what I wanted. Now I know how to open a bank account. It's
mm,
as a tourist, it's hard,
mhm,
but once you got the right visa, it's just a simple process.
mm,
And if you've got a digital nomad visa, you can open a bank account, right?
mm.
Nice and simple. All the countries in Asia pretty much have digital nomad visas. So if you want to
Absolutely.
go and try it for 12 months, get yourself a digital nomad visa.
Absolutely.
Thailand, destination Thai visa. Spend 6 months in Thailand at any one point in time,
Mm,
um, in one stint. And you can do that over 5 years. It's a 5-year
mhm,
visa. Uh,
mhm,
but Indonesia's about to introduce a 5-year visa,
mhm,
right, outside of the golden visas, right?
mm,
So you'll be able to get a 5-year long stay visa where you'll be able to stay. I think theirs is going to be 6 months. It's basically the same as a Thai visa,
mm,
right? So you'll be able to stay for 6 months in any one period, right?
mm.
wow, that's fantastic. You know,
Mm. And
so
seriously, if even if you just start off, I mean, or you can start off with workspaces, for example.
yeah,
Find out where the digital nomads hang out. There's so many in Bali. I've met so many in Bali and in Thailand as well. Everywhere I've been, all you have to do is see who's got the laptop open. And what I normally do is I just approach them. Hey,
yeah.
so you guys got laptop? What are you guys doing? So it's just being curious, engaging and getting to know them. And because they're traveling around, you're more open, especially when you've got Australian accent. You kind of
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
there's a
That,
bond
that,
in
that,
there, isn't there?
that's an automatic icebreaker.
Yeah.
You've got a leg up on the Americans because of your accent.
Yes.
Australians are well loved all through Asia, right? And it is a helpful thing to be an Australian.
Mm.
And but but don't be afraid to approach people and ask. A lot of people will help. Right?
Mm.
Um, but one word of caution there is sometimes you do need to pay a little bit, right? Because people are in business as well.
Yeah.
One of my network break in networking things is go and book an hour of a lawyer's time.
Mm.
Go and have a chat to them. Book an accountant's time for an hour and say, can you give me a private consult,
Mm-hmm.
for an hour, you know, 500-600 bucks, whatever it is. Go and
Mm-hmm.
sit down, pick their brains. Then they just keep going. The amount of times I've done that around the world and, gone and paid for a consult and asked them a whole heap of questions. And they'll tell you, oh, no, do this and do that and do this and do that. Right. But you're not being a sponge because you got to remember they're in business as well. So,
Mm.
um,
Totally. So, Stephen, are we witnessing the biggest economic shift since the Industrial Revolution, do you think?
100%, 100%. We're seeing the biggest shift. So in a number of levels, right? One, we're seeing a societal shift into Asia and Asian culture and Asian being. We're seeing an industrial shift into more digital um, uh, work, more digital economy, right?
Mm.
And that includes things like the blockchain. Asia is way ahead
Mm.
of the rest of the world, and if countries like Australia and the US don't get their legislation and everything together when it comes to things like crypto and blockchain technology, Asia will just eat their lunch.
Mm.
One of the things that I found interesting with uh, the Bali Finance Center thing, when you read the information on it, there's a big section about being digital native, being
Mm.
blockchain native. And they're
Mm-hmm.
going to write that into the laws. Now, if a country like Indonesia with 280 million or 250 million people become blockchain native,
Mm.
what's the hope for a country with 25 million people, right?
Mm.
Um, the Philippines are doing the same thing. Vietnam is rushing legislation ahead.
Mm.
And as soon as that happens, the Western world's going to die because all the brains in those worlds are all going to rush into where it's regulated, where they know what the rules of the game are, right? And once you know what the rules of the game are, you can exploit it to all you want, right? And
Yes, yeah, I like what you say about that. When you were here, we are talking about it's a game. Life is a game and how you play it. And knowing the rules and how you want to live your life, finding out your own rules. And depending on which jurisdictions you want to play, we'll find out and just get in there.
and you can arbitrage all these different laws and all these different rules. It's what multinational companies do, or it's what families that spread across 3 or 4 different jurisdictions do. They take the rules, they take the game as it's laid out in paper, and they go to where it fits them best. It goes to what suits their needs best.
Hmm.
And that's different for everyone. But, it's all there for you. Australia's game, as I'm looking at the Australia's game, and I say Australia's game is our legislation, tax, and everything else.
Mm.
It's rigged against us.
Mm.
Unless you're an large active business with strong ties to government, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is a dictatorship. That is how communist and socialist countries work. You've got to have government ties to succeed. You want to do business in China, you've got to have government ties to succeed, right? That's not how a democratic country works.
Mm.
But you can go to Thailand, you can go to Vietnam, and you can go to Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia. I love Malaysia. Malaysia's such an underrated country.
Mm.
Best food in the world,
And shopping.
shopping. Um,
Love
it
shopping.
is. I would say it's the most underrated nation in Asia.
Mm.
It is super, super good,
Mm.
right? Um, and and you can look at what they're doing, their laws and their packages and all that sort of stuff, and you can get a fair go, right? As long as you know how the game works,
Mm.
right? The changes that are being made in Bali about people with the way they structure their companies and they're using nominees and all this sort of stuff is, well, you're not abiding by the game,
Mm.
right? Of course they're going to kick up a stink and kick you out, right? Of course they're going to clamp down on stuff. It's not because they don't want foreign investment. They just don't want fuckwits.
Yes.
And it's as simple as that. If you're going to come to a country, abide by their game
Mm-hmm.
because there is plenty of opportunity if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would say there's more opportunity
Mm.
if you play the game right than there is if you try and buck the system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Bali's going to kick out all the bogans.
Mm.
It is going high end. Bali is going to kick out all the bogans. If you're a bogan surfer,
Mm. Yeah.
right, you are now unwelcome in Bali. They've made that because you fucked up.
Mm. Yeah. I
Because
mean,
you
look,
don't respect the people, you don't respect the game, you don't respect the country. So they no longer want you.
well, then knuckling down on influencers, for example.
Influencers
Mm.
or influenzas,
Influence.
biggest virus on the planet.
Yes. Yeah.
Worse than COVID, influencers.
I like how you say that. So, so let's get back to Australia. What's happening in the political arena, Stephen, in Oz?
Oh, so much. Let me share my screen. I'll run through. It's easy. I've got the charts. Can I share my screen?
It
All
doesn't.
right, that's working. Isn't this really technology? Um, okay, so whoops. Well, it's nearly good technology. So we talk about Asia. That was the thing there.
Hmm.
And just a quick recap before I move on. There's 5,000 years of history, largest population, combined GDP, 40%,
Mm,
largest combined GDP in the world. It is the new empire. Now, one of the things we didn't mention is it's the center of BRICS.
mm.
BRICS are
Yeah.
going to have their own rules. BRICS nations aren't woke. BRICS nations aren't after lefty, stupid idiot stuff. Most of
Mm,
the BRICS nations are trying to get away from communism, not run towards it.
mm.
You got the fastest growing economies in Asia. Asia embraces technology. Right.
Absolutely.
Um, and then the last two here, I think, are the biggest ones. News service is always positive. I
Mm,
was I was dumbfounded. Yes, there is some negative articles, but they're neutral.
mm,
Mainly, it's positive. And the other thing is the country is, and most of the leaders, most of the people in the countries are prosperity focused. They're
totally.
not regressive.
Mm,
So massive difference to what's happening in places like Australia.
hmm.
So let's wind up with politics that matters. we've all been seeing the polls lately, and the polls are up and down. One Nation is cementing itself in the lead. Now, it depends on which poll that you look at. I like the Redbridge accent poll because it actually tends to be lefty in nature, but and that means that for me personally, I can tend to trust their figures more than some of the other ones like YouGov or Essential. Roy Morgan has a different polling method totally. So for me, Redbridge is one of the better ones, and there's a couple of others as well. So now basically what we're seeing is One Nation's in the lead. Problem is, it's not converting to enough seats for them to form government. One of the things that I'm seeing here is like this two-party preferred number for the LNP at 52.48. That is a complete reversal to what was happening 6 months ago. If we compare March to August, 4 months ago, sorry, we're seeing that One Nation is pretty much still the same 30%. The ALP has dropped down below One Nation. The LNP is pretty much the same. The LNP has actually picked up Green votes.
Oh.
Now, a lot of the Green vote here is actually teal vote. So it's moderate vote. And one of the things when you actually dig deeper into some of these numbers under here is the teals are slowly moving back to the LNP because they're seeing the Liberal National Party as a new moderate party. And that's why you're starting to see some of the Green leak off into the LNP. And that is also then translating into two-party preferred because the Greens are abandoning Labor and preferencing the LNP because they're starting to see a way for it. Now, I'm not talking about the Greens party. I'm talking about the Greens voter. Right? This is voter based, not what the parties actually stand for. One Nation is full of protest votes, a lot of protest votes. That's why it doesn't convert to physical seats or enough to actually win. It could change, but at this stage, it's not. Most people are putting one in their primary box and then two, they're going to the ALP, LNP, Greens, where they actually want their vote to go. So it's still a protest party. The LNP here is benefiting from that because of the flow of the way that the One Nation 60-30 vote, and because the ALP vote is so depressed, they're actually going to get here. There is nothing in this that tells me that there's a good change for Australia. If the LNP win, business as usual. A Labor win, business as usual. Down the gurgler. ALP win, down the gurgler. One Nation win, utter chaos. So it may be a change to the government, but that's going to take 2 or 3 election cycles to get through. In that time, can you survive 12 years, or say 9 years? Can you survive 9 years of chaos? And my thing on that is no. I don't think Australia's got more than 12 months to survive the damage that's been done, especially when you put it into perspective of what's happening in Asia. Right. There is just better returns. A builder friend of mine that's up there doing villa investments, he's going, why would I take 2% return in Australia when I can get 14 or 15% return in Asia? It's just, especially as he said, if I build them myself and I rent them out, he said I can be up around 20% return.
Wow.
That's just phenomenal returns, right?
Huge difference.
Yeah. So there is massive new plays in Australia. Sorry, in Asia. Now there is going to be a very big gap happening in Australian property soon. especially around if you can buy older property, revamp it, and add value. So add an increase. So put another house on it, put another two houses on it, whatever, and then hold it for the rental increase as long as it makes it cash flow positive. There'll be a big surge into that market, but you'll need to be the developer to get the developer margin, right? And that is going to be the big gain in property for Australian property people. You need to be the developer. So that's what I'm saying on a federal basis. Not a lot of good hope there. Some change coming, and these numbers are now becoming stable. Right, we're starting to see the stability of the same numbers. If you watch the same poll, this is why these two polls, Redbridge accent, that's why I compare like for like. In the media, you won't see like for like being compared. They'll compare a Redbridge poll with a YouGov poll, which would be totally upside down. Or the best one that I saw was an Essential poll, which said that One Nation, and I think I've got it here. This was off the back, I think, of the Essential. No, this was the Demos poll, sorry. The Demos poll, where they did the Demos poll versus the Roy Morgan poll. And it basically, the Roy Morgan poll had One Nation's vote collapsing to 22%. And it's like, really? The Demos poll, which is a lefty poll, it's a skewed poll, has it at 30%, has it as the most popular party in Australia, and these polls were published in the same week. So you can't compare like for like because it's a different mentality. An MRP poll is what you really want to see when you're looking at numbers, and that is purely and simply because they take a larger population base over a longer period of time with better and more in-depth questions. Right. So if you can, or if you can see an MRP poll, they're better than a standard normal poll. So if you have a look here, this was over 9,343 people. That's the N factor. If you have a look at the polls here, they were over 1,000. Right. So that's that number. The higher that number, and the deeper the logic in the question, the better the poll is. So I still don't think that they're right, but One Nation is definitely now the opposition. The LNP is being relegated to a minor party. ALP are losing voters. Teals are losing voters. So watch for an early election. My prediction is if Victoria goes very, very bad for the ALP, they will smash out a quick election. Probably March next year, before the New South Wales election. That way that they stop the rot in their mind, because they'll basically break the back of One Nation, because One Nation isn't ready to go to the polls. The coalition definitely isn't ready to go to the polls. Neither are the Teals, but the Greens are. Labor pretty much are. Right. Albo would know the numbers, or his numbers crunchers would know the numbers. They know that they need to get rid of 10 backbenchers. So they need to get under 80, so probably 14 backbenchers, to have a stable backbench. The problem is when you've got too many numbers on the backbench, you've got too many people yapping away. And then when it gets closer to election, they all fear for their jobs because they've never had it so fucking good. Right. And then what happens is you start to get the leaks, you start to get the thing because the numbers are too big. One of the things that killed Campbell Newman here in Queensland was all the backbenchers that knew that they're going to lose their seats. So they all started jumping ship. They all started leaking to the media. They all started turning against him. Right. So he was killed from his own party because he had too many votes. So to govern effectively, you really need, so in the House of Reps, you really need 76 to get over the line and 4 heart attacks. So you need 80. 80 is the sweet number. Normally, why we say 4 heart attacks is because during the life of a parliament, there is normally a sex scandal where someone resigns, there is normally a death where someone dies, or there is normally a defection, right? And if you happen to get all three, right, and you don't have 76 plus the four, what we call the 4 heart attacks, you don't have enough coverage, right? So there's always something where you lose MPs, and we've seen it in pretty much every parliament. So there you go. Watch for an early election. Victoria, basket case. This is a freshwater poll. I couldn't find a decent poll. See, it's only 1,000 people. And it was only done over, a 4-day period. Now, I don't believe that number. That's a protest vote. And if you have a look at freshwater here, I should have dug out the previous freshwater poll, but One Nation is higher than that. The Greens aren't moving anywhere, and it's saying 52-48. I would still say at this point in time in the election cycle in Victoria, the ALP still win. Because when people go to the ballot box, I still don't think there's enough hammers out. And One Nation is taking too many ALP votes down there. So people will go, I hate you, ALP, One Nation first, or coalition first, but my second preference is going to get to my party of the ALP. So I expect that Labor at this stage is still ahead. Might only be very small, but I expect they're still ahead. I think that's it. Yes, that's me. That's it. That's all done. All right. So there you go. There's a quick update from my Politics Matters section.
Thanks for that. Stephen, you keep mentioning about 12 months. We've got 12 months. Can you expand on that a bit? Why do you say 12 months? We've got 12 months.
Okay, so why I say we've got 12 months is it comes down to a few factors. I should stop sharing my screen. Comes down to a few factors. Is one, the rate of immigration. The rate of immigration is changing the social fabric of our nation, especially in Sydney and Melbourne, to where it's going to be unrecognisable. Right, the creep of Islam through our nation, and then now we're going to see the creep of the Indians because it's basically an open gate. Australia has been crushed by legal migration because they've made it so easier for certain people to come here. Right? So the social fabric of Australia is going to be crushed within 18 months at the best, 12 months sort of at the worst. But so 12 months. The other is the rate of people that are dependent on the sort of the triangle dependency, if you want to look at it, as Paul Murray would say, where you've got people that are employed by government, their jobs rely on government, or they can't make ends meet without government. That dependency is getting cemented and cemented and cemented and cemented faster and faster and faster every day, right? And at some point, it becomes where people will only vote with self-interest in mind, and we're very close to that tipping point now, right? And they're going to protest with the One Nation vote, but they're going to make sure that they cement the party that can actually put money in their pocket, and that'll be the ALP, right? And once again, that's why I think within 12 months we would have been to an election, which means that would have cemented the ALP in, which means it's cemented 12 months of pain. Another point is the size of government is growing at the fastest rate that we've ever seen in this country. Once you get to about 21% of the population employed directly or pretty much directly or close to directly, so directly employed by the government or indirectly employed by the government because you're employed through a contractor that is working for the government, but their money 100% comes from the government. Once about 21, 22% of the population is involved in that, it's pretty much unreversible. Because
Mm,
people then will start to vote and think in self-interest terms only. Right?
mm,
So
mm,
people that are going to get jobs like that are connected to the government, work directly for the government, they're people that are never ever going to leave. They're people that are never going to change their ways. They're the forgotten lost people, right? And if I ever see those type of people, and normally you can predict them because they wear a lanyard, right? So they've got a lanyard around their neck, and it's got a health department on it, or it's got
mm.
they basically just flash that I work for the government.
Yes.
Stay away from them because they are toxic. They are very, very toxic people. Um, there's that, and then one of the last points is business and the middle class is collapsing at such a fast rate that once it is gone, it'll be very, very hard to bring back.
Mm,
And a strong society relies on a strong middle class because a strong middle class build the soccer clubs for your kids, build the churches, they
yeah.
they build the cafes, they run all that. So when you have none of that, you only have monopolies. So then you're run by an oligarchy,
Mm,
and then you only have government for handouts. So that's
mm,
why I keep saying I now believe we've got 12 months. Oh, and sorry, the last point is Albo's told you. Albo told you in the budget you got 12 months to restructure your affairs or get out. Didn't
mm,
say it in those words, but when you
mm,
read the rules of the game and understand the rules of the game, he's told you you got 12 months to restructure your affairs or fuck off.
mm. Yeah.
Right? And he's told you. That's it. It's
Mm,
there. So take the warning, people.
mm,
Right? Or otherwise they wouldn't have worried about um, giving you time to restructure.
mm.
But they're giving you time to restructure. They're giving you the benefits to the restructure because they want you to stay,
Of
not
course.
fuck off. Right?
Yes.
So out.
Well,
They've told
someone's got to pay for the employees, right?
exactly. Someone's going to be
Mm,
the tax back.
mm,
Uh, self-managed super and super are on the line. They've already told you that. Your family home's on the line next. Um, they the basically the Treasury has come out and said, well, we need to get the tax somewhere, and the only way to get it is we've got to the money to pay for government. The only way we can do it is through increased taxation.
mm,
Uh, every think tank is coming up with the same equation now. So that's it, people.
mm,
You're being told
mhm,
and it's not me telling you that. It's the government is telling you that.
mm,
Because what they don't want is people like me and Grace and other people that are awake and going, you know what, it is grass is green on the other side. When they drop the hammer, they don't want us here
mm.
because we're the ones that create revolution,
Absolutely.
right? But
Absolutely.
but the problem is we don't have guns. You can vote your way into socialism, but you have to fight your way out of it.
Mm. Yep. And having a steely mind and making a decision on what you want and how you want to live.
And I've come to the conclusion my last years on this planet, whether however many they may be, I just don't want the bullshit.
Mm,
I'd rather go with this prosperity. I'd rather go where you can sit on the beach, drink a fruity drink and watch the sunset, you know. Um, it's why struggle when you can make money easier elsewhere?
Guys, there's nothing like sitting, having a smoothie or a cocktail or mocktail, whatever you want, sitting on the bean bag with an umbrella on the top, watching the sunset go down on the beach,
Yep.
having that massive bean bag. The only issue is getting off that bean bag
Oh
without
yeah,
falling
yeah.
over.
Oh yeah. I'm like a beached whale, just roll me off, and
Yeah, I have to ask my sister, get me off this beanbag because it sinks in the beach, and you've got the if you're a beach person, it's a wonderful
yep.
scenery before you, and you're talking to people, not just normal everyday lifestyle, but the people can talk business, they can talk about opportunities, whether it's small or big, there is no difference. It's about opportunities, just hanging out with everyone here. So I'm pretty choosy in myself who I hang out with.
There you
Um,
go, people. There's the sunset.
is that
Right.
Sanua?
No, no, that was off Seminyak.
And Aiden's here with us. Aiden, you're back in Oz. We're
You know,
thinking of you, mate.
so you know, um, life is better when you're not worrying about bullshit. So
Exactly, exactly. So that's it for tonight from us. Thank you for being with us, and I'm sure we keep discussing because it's kind of like I've been hearing you and Warren talk about this and offshore things and this and that. I love it. We're about to do a webinar. Hopefully, you guys are joining us. There's a webinar next Saturday. It's an all day with Steve and Warren, and talking about the wealth. Can you give me a little bit of snippet on that one, Stephen, if you know anything?
yeah, so we're rerunning Secure Your Wealth. It's going to be updated to focus on the budget changes and what you can do and all that sort of stuff there. I'll be doing my Plan B sessions as normal, and also the session on just how you can build your wealth through business acquisitions or taking your business overseas. So it's a holistic look at securing your wealth and buggering off. And as I said, what was a plan B, I'm afraid, is now a plan A because um, especially if you don't want the headache. You can stay, but I just don't want the headache.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's on next Saturday, the 15th. It's an all-day event. So if you don't know anything about that, just reach out to our support team, inquiring, and we'll send you the itinerary or what we've
Yep.
got. And the idea of that is we're taking off. I'm looking forward to actually, Stephen, because out of that, we'll have a week in Thailand, yeah,
Yes.
beginning of December. So,
Yeah.
woohoo.
Yeah. And we're looking at another retreat for GWC members
End of
um, end of
September?
end of September, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
End of September, yep.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to come along and have a one-on-one with Stephen, it's actually in Warren. It's quite, I call it the Jekyll Island kind of get together, to be honest, because since we're in Bali, it just everything just opens up and we don't hold back.
Yeah. So we discuss things that you can't discuss other places.
Absolutely, and that's very holistic too. So anyway, thank you very much, Stephen. Thanks for the info. Again, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you in the next 2 weeks.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
To kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent.